Good afternoon guys and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Dave's Continuous Learning.
Thank you very much, Chris.
We are talking today about Dave's putting, so we can't get outside for his short game today, so we'll be doing that in the next couple of weeks. Last week we went through his irons and we showed you what kind of drills and his before and afters and the changes we've made throughout the winter. Here we have his putting from today, so it's an area of the game that we've constantly worked on with Dave. That's when Dave first came for a session, was for putting. We've changed his putter over the time, we've changed his grip, we've changed his setup. We've done a lot of things to Dave's putting, but he's now confident on the putting greens, he's having less putts per round. And we're going to go through today a couple of the drills that we went through with Dave, what we've tried to do obviously with his technique, which I'm going to go over shortly. And then we're going to show you, if you are looking for a new putter, the biggest thing that you need to look for when you come and select one of all of these putters you will see shortly here in the studio at Waterfront. A putter fitting is really important, so just like your driver, yes, you're going to hit your driver, but you're only going to hit your driver potentially maybe 14, 15 times around. Putting, unfortunately, we're going to have a lot more attempts with it. It could be well into the 30s. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, it's into the 40s, and we want to be able to get you a putter potentially that's going to help you save shots with or without having lessons. Something that might get you starting the ball, holding more putts. That's what we all want, isn't it, really?
Yep.
So let's go through Dave's technique now. So if we look at Dave's putting now, from face on, first of all, on the left, we can see the line we have got drawn on there, and that's going straight up the putter shaft. That's going through his belt buckle, through his belly button, and through the zipper on his Callaway sweater. So we can see the putter is in the middle and the ball position is just ahead of centre. If we want to return that putter to square, the bottom of the arc is going to be the centre of his stance and where his sternum is, and that's matching perfect. We did see before with Dave, he would have his hands behind that, so he might close the face, pull them left, and then if not, he had to try and hold the putter open and do all sorts of manipulation. So we can see from the motion here straight on, putter works away nicely, head is nice and still. And as we get back to the top of his backswing, we can see that that putter is still pointing towards his belly button. So towards his belly button, we know then the putter's having a nice little bit of an arc, and we can see on the face, it is opened ever so slightly. So on the way back in your putting stroke, the putter face will ever so slightly open. So from here, Dave now works the putter back towards the ball, head again stays nice and still, and we see at impact, it has returned to exactly where it was at setup, which is what we want to see. Nice and neutral, nice and square. And Dave goes through there and the ball comes off nice and straight on his start line, and we'll finally see that the face has closed a little bit as the putter has arced around. And we can see there's not much movement from Dave's head, which is what we like to see. One big thing we saw with Dave at the first time he came for a session was his head would tilt because his shaft was back and it was all sorts of manipulation. So if we look from down the line, one big thing we've worked on is getting Dave's hands matching or arms matching the shaft. So that is a line here. We can see that goes through his forearms and towards the top of his spine. Before, and I'll show you when we go back into the studio, you'll see Dave was a little bit too far away from the ball before. The toe of the putter was in the air. Again, like we said, a lot of manipulations of trying to get that square. We've also changed, obviously one big thing is his grip. So we see we've gone to the claw grip. Dave was a person like many who thought that his right hand was too active, but it actually wasn't doing much at all. It was holding the putter off. It wasn't actually releasing naturally, and that was causing the face to be either open one time, close the next time. We never knew where the ball was going to start.
We certainly didn't.
We also changed Dave's putter, so like we say, we've gone to the triple track putter, which is what we're going to show you shortly and what that does for Dave. But if we go back to the down line, we saw that getting into this posture with his arms matching allowed Dave to actually get that putter to arc in on the way back. From there, Dave then comes back to the ball nice and square and releases that on the way through. So he's not holding it off. Again, on the way back, we did see Dave used to have quite a big loop in there, the dreaded figure of 8. He still wants to move ever so slightly, as that does favour the heel. But again, a lot of work we've done over there. Like Dave mentioned to me earlier, it has been 3 years of this. So Dave has been having lessons for over 3 years now, working on his game. and this is one big part that has drastically improved. So let's show you some of the drills that we did with Dave, and then let's show you how Dave picked this putter. So guys, it has been a while since we've filmed in here. You can see it has now become the fitting studio here at Waterfront. So if you are looking to get fitted for anything, putters, wedges, irons, drivers, fairway woods, hybrids, all of the above, then come on down, give Waterfront a call and we'll be able to get you booked in for that. We all know everybody likes some new clubs. So we will be getting a new studio. So next time you see Dave having a putting lesson, we should be in a total different surrounding. It is only 100 yards down there, but you'll see that on our other channel for me and James Robinson on Get Good at Golf, which hopefully is going to be done this week. So we shall see.
Is it warm?
It is warm.
Oh,
it is warmer than this studio. So guys, these are the two main training aids that Dave has been using over years. So a mirror, which is again a great training aid to be able to get into a correct setup. So get the posture right first. If we get the posture correct, we can then build on that. A lot of people try and change putters, just like they try and change drivers. Try and change putters to suit what they do, and it doesn't always work. So Dave first worked on the mirror to make sure that he could get into the correct position from down the line, which was, like I said and I mentioned, Dave would often get into the position where he was a little bit too far away from the ball.
Yeah.
Toe of the putter would be in the air, and then from there would be guiding that putter, and it was all over the place, as Dave knows very well. So that was the main first training aid that we had Dave working on. Once he got his setup correct, then from there we introduced a mat here, a putting template mat. And this is again to start to figure out how the arc should work. So a lot of people think, and you've heard Dave and I heard when I was learning, straight back and straight through. But you'll see on screen, guys, now with the training aid, you'll see there is a little bit of an arc on there. So depending on what putter and where you stand, you could get an arc that suits your stroke. It gives you that a little bit of training. It shows you what the club face should do. It should open on the way back and then close on the way through. But all that is doing is matching its arc.
So we were never taught that in the past.
No, a lot of it was down to straight back and straight through, guys. And if you are somebody who still does straight back and straight through, it is the correct way if it is working on your arc. So you're going straight back on the arc and straight through. It is not imagining there is a straight line and you have to guide the putter, which is what we see a lot.
That was me.
That was Dave. So we've used those training aids for Dave for a long time now, but then when we talk about the putter, to make sure that Dave had the correct putter, we had to work on his alignments. We had to get one which did aim him the best. And you'll see that there's a wide selection of putters here in the studio, as I'll film down all of them now. But we ended up with a triple track, and the reason being is that was the best putter for Dave to aim straight. And we're going to show you that now. When Dave sets up to this ball, he will be aiming straight towards the target. That allows him then to know that his face is square at setup, which gives you a better chance of lining or starting the ball on the intended line. Then we have to know that we've got the correct green read, and we've got to match it all together with a little bit of pace. So there's a lot of things in putting, but getting the correct putter to start with can massively help you reduce your scores and lower your handicap. So Dave's going to do his normal routine. He's going to come in and set up to this golf ball, and then I'm going to show you that Dave has now got the ability to aim this putter straight towards the hole. So are you comfortable there, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So if I come in here now, and a nice device in a laser, we can see that Dave, square to Dave's face, and that's bang in the middle of the hole. You can see there a laser there just to make sure that Dave is aiming correctly. Again, there's a lot of training aids online, that lasers that can go on your putter and start for you to practice that face alignment. You can practice it all day, but if you don't have a putter with long lines like Dave or a no line, all different putters will suit different people in how it helps them to aim. You see straight away there, Dave was able to get that in the centre. We know then, because he's worked on his posture and we've got a better path and face control, we should be off to a very good start. If Dave knows how fast the greens are and he's done his pace putting practice, which is hard in the winter, but as soon as the season comes round he can, and we know his green reading's on form, Dave's going to hole a lot more putts, he's been holing a lot more putts, and that's why his handicap's now down at 12, but we still want single figures. I'm just going to show you now, if I give Dave a totally different putter with a different line on, we're going to see where that aims, and we're going to see why, again, a certain putter with a certain alignment aid is the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing I go for in fitting. As long as you've got the correct length of putter and you've got a putter that aims you good, we're off to a great start. So I've just picked another Odyssey off the rack for Dave. So this is the Odyssey 11, so it has got the white top face, a very similar putter. So it's got the Stroke Lab shaft, so it's similar to Dave, but it's got no exact distinct lines on the top. So now Dave's going into that a little bit blind. It has got a little ridge on there, but that might not be as good for Dave. So I'm going to get Dave to feel comfortable again over the ball. And whenever he's ready, we're going to come in and have a look. Are you comfortable there?
Yeah.
Okay, so straight away. So there, straight away, that has moved, as we can see. If I stop wobbling and Dave stays there, we can see that's on the right edge of the hole. So instantly, just from changing a line, the putter's the same length, it's got the same kind of shaft, but without a line on the top, Dave's not able to line that as good. And this is when you go for a putter fitting, guys, you need to make sure that people are testing that, testing which is the best aim for you. Dave said before we filmed, he remembers when he first got this putter and we tested it.
Didn't like the lines on it at all.
He absolutely despised the putter, but once we got the numbers, once we got obviously the tests of how he could aim that, it was the best one for Dave, and Dave went for performance.
It was quite simply the one that held more putts and how it looked. So what?
So it did the job. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that. That's again a putting lesson for Dave, what we've worked on with his setup, what kind of drills you might look at or what kind of training aids might help you. And then when you go for a putter fitting, make sure, one, you're open-minded, and two, you get the correct putter that aims the best for you, and you make sure the length is correct. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that, and we'll see you again later in the week.
See you soon.